Good morning. How's everybody doing? Happy New Year to all you hungover people. Uh, when I was young and drinking, I found the best cure in the world for hangovers. You just started drinking again, or you never stopped. I have, I actually did drink myself sober one time, which is not supposed to be. It's supposed to be a delusion, but I don't know. I swear I was sober. Wasn't driving a car or anything because who knows. Uh, so what's going on? Well, there was an article on one of my Mastodon sites, uh, and I read it because it sounded interesting, and it's something that I've pretty much agree with and known about for a while, but not the whole story. But it's that Trump doesn't have any money. Trump never had any money. Well, if you know anything about Donald, you know he doesn't pay his bills, number one. And he's a user, so everything he does is based upon somebody else doing it for him or whatever. So he's been cash poor for a long time. Everybody says he's rich. Yeah, his hotel's got something like 3 mortgages on it, and he's having trouble making the payments on them. So, no, that's the one in New York City, Trump Towers, the big famous one. They got everybody all hot and bothered. Of course, the one in D.C. will start making money right away because he makes the government pay for all his visitors, and he puts them up in the best suites in that hotel. So that hotel becomes a success right away. It's always his businesses make money, but he personally doesn't make money. That's how he's able to walk away from the bankruptcies, because he doesn't have any money. If he had money, he'd lose it all, and then he would have been in a real mess. He wouldn't have been able to borrow more. So, what he has right now is a financial backer in Musk. And Eli is the one they think he'll be able to pay some of his bills and keep him solvent while he's in office. Until Musk gets pissed or Trump gets pissed at him. Trump's not a genius. He never has been. Doesn't even come close. So those of you who believe he's this super intelligent individual should understand something. It's a lie. It's a smokescreen. It's a fake. Like most of Donald Trump. Donald Trump's a grifter. A good grifter. He's good at it. Don't get me wrong. But he's a grifter and a manipulator, and that's his life. He's not that's a different kind of intelligence. It's like, I'm smart, but I'm smart in a different way. I'm smart at visualizing things, and I'm smart at going out in the woods and finding stuff, more nature-oriented. My intelligence is, I'm pretty smart that way. But like this morning, I found out that there was a cow cruising around across the street, and at first nobody knew what it was, and then the big cow pie sitting there, and I said, "That's a cow." I said, "He's not healthy." So they said, "Well, how can you tell?" Well, ordinarily I say the poop was a good sign, but around this part of the world you never know. But because people play games. But I found the footprints later on, the hoof prints in the grass and whatnot, so I know he's around. I just don't know where he is. There's a bunch of cattle that lives up the hill from my house, and that's probably where he came from. They get out every once in a while. They don't bother anybody. They're harmless. They kind of like the attention people give them, But You don't want to hit one of them with your car. Not the cars they build down here anyhow. But yeah, Trump's broke, and I don't think he's a good businessman. He's a good con artist. You know, he gets people to invest in things. I mean, how do you bankrupt a casino? Well, first of all, it was in a very horrible location. And as I've said, people I know that went there say it was the most depressing casino they've ever been in. Casinos are supposed to have a certain amount of life and a vibe to them. This place felt like you're going to a funeral home, you know, so I understand why it went bankrupt. I don't know the conditions of the rooms or anything. I never had that money to be able to afford to stay in a hotel down there when I was going down there, so anyhow, I don't know what else to tell you. It's the first of the year, and everybody's sitting on pins and needles trying to figure out what's going to happen next. You know, what's Trump really going to do? What can he do? What can't he do? Remember this, all right? Even newscasters are starting to say this too, and they're doing the same, using the same kind of hand gestures I do. Trump wants you to watch this. This is his chaos. This is his Musk, or this is his stupid statement. You know, I'm going to invade Canada and all this, and over here, he's stealing from you. Now, he did it his first term. And now they're saying that he's going to probably end up trying to bankrupt the U.S. Treasury before he gets out of office. That's just the scumbag that he is. And I don't understand how people, you know, go along and, you know, they want you to, today's a kind of a day that you're supposed to look back on the year past, you know. And I don't see the real happy stuff. I guess I'm kind of a depressed and, you know, a pessimist or something like that, I guess. I don't know. I don't think I am. I think I'm a realist, but people might be right. I might be pessimistic. Because I look and I say, you know, 2020, 24, the year they turned cars into weapons of mass destruction. Here's an accident yesterday in New Orleans. There's 10 people dead. Guy purposely, they call it an act of terrorism, which it obviously is, whether it's domestic or foreign or whatever. It's a terroristic act. Drove the car deliberately into a crowd of people, killed 10, shot a couple of them before he was killed. In those situations when there's crowds around and there's gunfire, you never know who really killed who. You know, it takes ballistics about 6 months to figure everything out. And sometimes they report it right and they tell you what happened, and sometimes they don't because it's too embarrassing. But, and you say, what am I talking about? Well, it was determined in World War II that in certain instances, certain battles where a lot of people died, it was sort of chaotic, that up to 25% of those that got shot, this is wounded or killed, was friendly fire. One man I spoke to who knew Audie Murphy, veteran, he was a veteran of World War II, said that you know, the safest place to be when Audie Murphy was around was behind him, because if you got anywhere near in front of him, he shot anything that moved in front of him. Now, I don't know whether that's probably what everybody in a war situation will do, you know. But you know, that's a different thing than what goes on in the streets, you know. But guns are, you know, firing a gun is sort of a contagious thing. It's sort of like a mob mentality, you know. If somebody's shooting a gun and you have a gun in the eye, the desire to shoot and fire is, you know, very strong. But do you know what you're shooting at? You're going to take the time to figure it out? No, because most people are scared shitless when they see that. Look, I've had guns pointed at me twice. Once a guy pointed a shotgun at me and fired it, and my friend knocked me down, and pellets shot over above my head when I was hunting. Later that day, I broke the guy's jaw. I kicked him in the face as hard as I could. I tried to kill him. Okay, so that's one instance. The other instance was during the New Jersey, the riots in New Jersey. Before I was called up, or before I got really involved in going to Newark, I was in Livingston, where I worked, and I had to go pick up a vehicle, a truck, and take it the next morning to a warehouse to pick up some supplies. So I went up there in the evening, about 9 o'clock or so, and I'm picking up the car, and the two craziest cops in town. I mean, these guys they shouldn't have been police officers. They were pretty friggin' crazy. They come up and pull me over, and I pull over like there's nothing wrong, because I know these guys, everything's okay. Passenger door rips open, and there's a guy pointing the pistol at me that looked like and I was looking down what I thought was the Holland Tunnel, because I knew this guy was nuts, and I was scared. Then I got angry, but that still didn't help the situation. So I know a lot about what happens with guns and stuff like that. But do you know people see a car coming at you? Now they say, well, the first instinct is to... No, the first instinct is to freeze until people start getting thrown around, until the incident is already taking place and there's people dying and whatnot. People don't move, and that's how the people that die. They don't move. I'm not saying I've been in one situation like that, and I threw the person with me to the side, but I didn't move, and I was very lucky that the car stopped before it hit me. Came up on the curb and it hit a signpost or something. I forget what stopped it. Otherwise, I would have been dead. I've been in other situations like that, By the time you realize especially if you're not looking at the vehicle, you're just, you want to turn around and see what's making everybody run. No, I just go. I learned the hard way. Run. Worry about it later, But the problem is you don't know whether to go straight, left, or right. You don't know. And that's how you get hurt. But, yeah, it's 2024. Using vehicles for mass murder. I don't know how you stop that. I forgot the person that said this. Was I don't know whether it was a politician, a law enforcement person, or a psychologist or whatever, but he said the most dangerous act of terrorism is that the acts that are committed by homegrown terrorists. We're not, you can look wearily at an Arab or a dark-skinned person or whatever, but you got a white guy with a big smile on his face, you're not going to run. You're not going. Most cops aren't going to even double-check this guy, no matter what that happens. They don't do that. That's not human nature. A white guy and a white guy. It's not going to happen, as much as we'd like it to. It's how do you track this person? How do you know about this person? We're getting better at it, but still, we're not as good as we're supposed to be at it, So that's what goes on there. Sadly. Well, anyhow, listen, I'm being very depressed for New Year's Eve, and that's wrong. I'm just a little lonely and whatnot, I guess. So anyhow, got to be some football I can watch today. I'm going to try and cheer myself up. Try to find some good news for tomorrow. You know, down here there isn't any news. They don't even broadcast news on days like this, you know, on a holiday. So anyhow, I'll see you tomorrow. Please hit the subscribe and the like button. I know, don't base your opinion on my videos on today. It's just a very down day for me. Sorry about that. And we'll talk to you tomorrow and see if we can improve anything. But do hit the subscribe and the like buttons for me. Thanks, guys.